welcome to another night of Youth at Night. My name is Nick Mastard. I'm the high school pastor here. We are so excited for what tonight has in store.
And I'm Autumn. I'm a sophomore here at Cedar Mill. And Youth at Night is such a fun time. You'll laugh, you'll cry. It'll be a real party.
Yeah, we cannot wait. There's all sorts of different segments that we will have tonight. But for this first segment, we took Jesus' words literally. We went downtown and we decided to fish for men. Check this out. So we're doing a prank right now. Scripture talks about how we are called to fish for people. Let's do it. Oh. I gotta say, that was so much fun going downtown, taking Jesus' words literally, fishing for people. We got some live ones. It was a blast. And let's go ahead and shift into our next segment.
For this next segment, we flew in a world-renowned stand-up comedian. He's a little shy, though, so let's give him a warm round of applause.
Portland. Weird, huh? Thanks for having me out tonight, folks. The flight was incredible, to say the least. Landing down here in the great city of Portland. Just notice it's kind of weird. I mean, that's the motto, right? And speaking of church, I know we were. Speaking of church, weird as well, huh? Sometimes. Like, I remember the first time I went to church. I'm like just a young kid rolling into church. I'm dressed to the T. I'm feeling great. Kind of like I'm on a dinner date, right? And I roll into church. I'm excited. It's got to be 10 in the morning. They start talking about a supper. And I'm like, I dressed right. We're at a supper, a dinner supper. This is going to be fantastic. They start talking about the Lord's Supper. And I'm like, whoa, Lord's Supper? Never had a supper fit for a king. This is going to be epic. And they come out. If you've ever seen The Grinch, when they come out with the big old things and they pull it off and there's a roast turkey underneath, they come rolling out with that. They pull the lid off. And all of a sudden, the smallest supper I've ever seen. Looks like a bunch of toenail clippings back from where I'm sitting, and the smallest cups manufactured I've ever seen. And I'm thinking, this is a Lord's Supper? This is a supper fit for a king? I'm thinking, I don't want to know what a peasant's supper looks like. No one wants, I mean, if this is a supper for a king, you must need a microscope to see a peasant's supper. So they're talking, they're saying a bunch of stuff that I don't know, and all I'm thinking is, when did this change? When did it go from a big old kingly supper fit for a king to these little cups? I thought to myself, I know when. Back in 1989. You know what came out in 1989? Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Not long after that, Indian in the Cupboard. Begins to make sense, doesn't it? Yeah. I mean, speaking of communion, you've got the bread and the juice, You ever realize that's a terrible combination for bad breath? It's always communion right before meet and greet. You're like, my name's Luke. Everyone's like, ugh. All I'm thinking is, I know that it's supposed to remind you of Christ's death, but it doesn't mean our breath needs to be smelling like Christ's death. We should switch it up sometime. Go Tic Tacs and Listerine in those cups just before meet and greet. We'd be smiling bright. Meet and greet would actually go good for once. You know what I'm saying? Like, just makes sense. You know, the other thing that's kind of weird, growing up in a small town, I went to the small church and we worshiped the Lord a lot, like a lot of churches do. I don't know if you remember the songs like a rose trampled on the ground, right? So songs about potters making us in clay and all kinds of stuff. One thing I always wondered, we always worship with the lights on in this small church. It makes sense to me. But there's always, right in the middle of the worship leader's thing, like people start having questions. There's like 2 people every week that would start raising their hand. I'm thinking, really, at such a time as this, right in the middle of this man's praise, you're going to have a question like this. And then I go to college, and we start going to places that worship with the lights off. And it says in Scripture, sin grows in the dark. I believe that to be true, because once we start worshiping with the lights off, everybody's having questions up in the church. You got some people have 2 questions. They got both hands rose. And then I'm looking on stage. I see the man leading the worship. He's got his hands in the air. And I'm thinking, if that guy's got questions, who's going to answer his questions? And so my mind is swirling. I raise my hand in the air because I've got questions about why people have questions. And instead of answering my question, someone comes up and tells me they're proud of me. What's to be proud about that? Answer my question, please. I beg you. Other thing that's never really made sense to me is, I understand we got to collect money as a church. It's part of worship. But why are they always talking about sending down Usher to collect it? What's Usher ever done for the church? And why can't he ever show up in person? Why has he got to send his people? Like, we're always paying Usher, paying our dues to that guy. Doesn't he have someone else to pick on? I hear the church saying something like blah, 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 something about foyer. It's a foyer. Foyer. You can sign up in the foyer. It's like they're not finishing the sentence. You sign up for your men's retreat is always what I think they're going to say. But they just say, sign up foyer. I'm like, what's for your bachelor degree program? You better pay Usher for your own good, or else he's going to come at you. I just don't get it. I don't get that stuff. We're always saying weird words in church like fellowship. Only other place I've heard fellowship is always involving little hobbits and wizards and stuff. I ain't about to go fellowship with the bros, Frodo and Bilbo. You know, I'm hanging out with Nick and Josh. Nick and Josh, we just hang out with the homies. This evening, I want to talk a little bit about a superhero strength of mine. It's going to surprise you a little bit. I was born with it, actually. Well, or developed it in a young age. It's superhero strength I call terrible posture. I know you're caught by surprise. You're thinking, how could terrible posture be a superhero strength? And yeah, I might not be able to do the limbo very well. I kind of struggle to do that, and I'm kind of always ready to just get an uppercut to the chin, like it's just always hanging out, ready for anyone to sucker punch me in the face. And yeah, I may not be able to get on a lot of carnival rides because I'm never tall enough. But let me tell you, having bad posture isn't all bad. You know, when I need to scratch my knee, I don't even have to lean over. Pulling weeds, no problem. Eating dinner, and we just happen to not have enough dinner chairs, I can just walk up to the table and eat from it. Hopping in the car after Danica's been driving, don't even have to rearrange the mirror. I was shopping, the cart, it's just like right there ready for me to push. You got, anytime any moment, I'm just ready to somersault. I'm like ready to go into a ninja move at any second. Putting my shoes on, talking to little kids. I'm always down on their level. It's great. Bad posture's awesome. It's amazing. You want to know why my posture's so bad? It's because of a big old noggin of mine. I've got bowling ball attached to my neck. How am I supposed to keep up with that? I don't know. I did Ripped with Ruben for a while. He needs to be giving me some neck workouts. Help me out with that. When I was a kid, I used to not be able to run in the yard without falling over. And if you've ever seen the show Hey Arnold, it's like that, but sideways. Or the movie Alien. I got a long, weird head. Or for you Gen Z kids, just think of Dory's body. 2 beady eyes on the top of a long head. You know, bad posture is superhero strength, but a huge head is terrible. No hats fit me. Oh, man. Speaking of superhero strengths, I want to talk a little bit about an anti-strength of mine. Having a good sense of smell. You know, some of you are thinking, how's that not a superhero strength? And I would just say, like, yeah, it's nice for walking through fields of daisies and smelling grandma's cooking. But one thing that I hate most in this world, something I think is despicable, it's against all things good, is a fart. Like, I know God says in Genesis, he'll work all things together for good, but how is he ever supposed to use a fart for his good? I can't stand farts, and I smell them like brewing up 10 minutes before they ever happen. It's like Spidey sense, but for a fart. And I swear everywhere I go, it's constant fart smell. There's like, everyone is just constantly farting. There's like 10 people, and if we got an average of 20 farts a day, it's practically the air we breathe. I'm for one thankful that we're wearing masks. Thank goodness that we're finally wearing masks to separate, to keep those disrespectful poop particles out of my nose. Like I'll happily wear a mask to the end of my days if it means I don't have to smell that. It's one thing, I love a round of applause more than anybody else, but if your butt's doing a round of applause, there's a problem, right? That's where the issue really lies. Put a cork in that thing. Be careful where you're aiming it, please. I know you guys think I'm doing comedy right now, but if we can just, each youth at night, we go into a moment of seriousness. If we could do that for a second, just please be careful where you're farting, and be careful where you're, put a safety on. Put a safety on, that's all I'll say. Not that you never can, just go to the target range. Go, use the bathroom, the toilet, it's what it's made for. I mean, you want to know what the definition of chemical warfare is? It's using chemical properties to incapacitate, injure, or kill somebody. And some of you middle school boys, you're about to do that. I know, your families have told me. Your sisters have sent in prayer requests. They've written it on the cards. I can't live another day in this house. It smells terrible. Please, please, love your neighbor. Speaking of the word fart, it really is offensive. You know, if it was up to me, we'd pull a Voldemort on it. We would say, the thing that shall not be named. This atrocity, this thing that happens inside of our guts. Why? Why? The psalmist says. Why do these things happen? That's what I want to know. My mom, she always tried to give me a name for the word fart. She said, you should use fluff or toot. Okay, Mom, you know, respect your elders, trust their wisdom. I'm like, I could get behind that, I think. I'm in the men's locker room at school, and the boys are talking, having a great time, and suddenly, out of nowhere, this stench, make your lip curl, straight from the depths of hell, comes rolling over to my side of the locker room. And I think, this terrible thing, could it really be called a toot? Should it really be called a fluff? When I think of fluff, I think of cotton candy. This reminds me nothing of cotton candy. But I was a good boy. I decided to obey my mom. And so I said, hey, Who tooted? You want all your credibility to be flushed down the toilet? You want to lose every friend you've ever had? All the credibility in the world? You go into a men's high school locker room and you say the word toot. I had to change my name. I had to move out of Baker County. My football career was over. Thanks a lot, Mom.
No, don't quit your day job, Luke. What do you guys think? Go ahead and throw in the chat, 10 being the funniest, 1 being the worst thing you've ever seen. What do you think you just watched right there? Hey, we're gonna go ahead and shift gears a little bit for tonight, and Autumn, why don't you go ahead and tell us about it?
Here at Youth at Night, we always like to have a little segment of truth, and tonight, one of my good friends, Emery, shares her testimony, and it's very fruitful and relatable, so take a listen.
My name's Emery, I'm 13, and I've been going to Cedar Mills since about 4th grade. But that's when my walk with God kind of became stronger, I think. My whole family has always been Christian since I was born, and so are my grandparents, but I made the choice for myself at around the age of like 9-ish that I really wanted my faith to be something that is really important to me. So it has been, and I don't regret it. It's great, and I love God very much. So, yeah. So I started playing volleyball in the 3rd grade. I started playing competitively in a club environment in 5th grade. So that was a lot of pressure because it was every single week, twice a week, and then all-day tournaments, probably 8 to 10 hours on Saturday or Sunday. So, but more recently this year, my practices were on Wednesday nights, so I was never able to come to youth group. And this was a big obstacle for me because I wasn't able to be with a lot of my friends, so it wasn't super fun. But as the season started to wrap up, I started to learn that I wasn't as strong as I was this year as I was in the past with my health, but so I decided that volleyball was something I should just take a step back from for many reasons, just health, and I really miss seeing my friends at youth group, and I think my faith wasn't as strong as it should have been. I think volleyball was taking up too much time and possibly becoming some type of an idol, and I didn't want that. So I took a step back, but it has been really hard leaving my friends from volleyball and my team and learning that I won't be able to progress in it. In early September when I was 12, I was diagnosed with an autoinflammatory disease. It put me on this really restrictive diet pretty strictly and fast. It took me behind in volleyball. It took me away from a lot of school at the beginning. I had a lot of doctors who were all really helpful, but it was a lot to have at such a young age. But I've learned to deal with it, and especially in my faith, I think it strengthened me a lot, and I'm seeing more what God is planning to do with my life. So I think that's pretty cool. I've also so far, I think God has really helped me whenever I'm stressed with this. I've really seen him there and being with me. So if you're ever doubting that God's not there or he's not a part of your life, he always is, and he'll always be there whenever you need him.
For this next segment, everybody loves a friendly competition, so we're going to go out on the lawn and play a couple games. Comment in the chat who you think's going to win.
What's up, guys? We are down here. We're on this beautiful course today, and we're doing something here with our good friends, the Stevens. We're gonna have a friendly competition. We borrowed this idea from our great friends and colleagues down at Dude Perfect Studios. This is called an all sports golf frisbee golf battle. And this is what's going to go down. If you haven't seen this on YouTube yet, the way it happens is we have all these different sports items. Tennis, disc golf, pool ball, wiffle ball thrower, soccer ball. If you're not familiar with golf, the person that wins is the person who makes it to the Frisbee disc golf hole with the least amount of strokes. So yeah, let's see. We're gonna go head to head, see who's got game, and should be sweet.
Hi, I'm Ellie, and going into this game, I'm ready to crush my siblings. Hi, I'm Captain Pickle Sprinkles, and I feel like I'm the very big underdog on this game.
Yeah, I'm Wilson. You can also call me Maple Leaf, but that's just what my close friends call me. Anyways, I'm looking pretty confident in this. Feeling good. About to take some hoops down.
I'm going to pick the tennis racket to start with.
In the green.
I'm gonna throw the Frisbee because I feel it's the most likely to not roll back down the hill when it lands.
Okay, so I have a strategy. So first off, I think that the soccer ball and the tennis racket, these two, and whatever this thing is, will they'll all roll down the hill, which is not a good sign. So I need to have something that'll stay. So I think I'm gonna go with the Frisbee off my first shot.
All right.
So here we go. Decent.
Oh my gosh, I'm so
Oh,
Way
so
up
nice,
there.
bro.
Good work. Nice.
I'm gonna try this. Maybe this will be the one.
It rolled out the
It
back.
rolled out the bag.
No! No! No!
Yeah, baby!
Out.
6 pool ball.
Look out, Wilson, forward.
Heads, bud.
The last thing I have left is shot put. Not sure this is gonna get me. 3, lucky number. Shout out to my last sibling, Hope. We got this.
Nice.
Got me somewhere.
Not bad.
So plan worked out perfectly from the start. Got the Frisbee halfway up. Tennis racket was able to make it over without rolling back down. Then we got the big soccer kick on the flat space. Then the whatever this is over, hits the concrete perfectly, lands right here. So let's hope I make this. Also, gotta get some energizer before the last shot, just so I don't miss. Oreo, please sponsor us.
Nice.
There we go. I'm getting somewhere. Slowly but surely. oh, nope. No bueno. It's okay.
Nice.
Thanks to all my supporters. Like and subscribe.
Thank you so much for joining us for another night of youth at Nite. We're going to go ahead and close out by playing a game. What you're going to see is two different pictures. There's going to be a difference between the two. Go ahead and throw the difference of the two pictures in the comment section. If you're new with us, like this is your first time here, in the description of this video, you're going to find a I'm new here card. Go ahead and fill that thing out so that we can stay connected with you and get you more plugged in here at Cedar Mill Youth. We love you guys. We will see you next Wednesday, and we'll also see you directly after this at 7:45 in your Zoom meeting rooms. We'll see you guys soon.
Bye.